In the Fanatic or Money Radio and get your first week free.
Your favorite radio station.
And now you're up to date on the news. Stand by for weather and traffic right after this.
It wakes you up, starts your day, and keeps you informed as well as entertained.
You guys are absolutely the best.
How do you like to work here?
At The Fanatic, we're looking for commissioned sales reps to knock on doors, set up appointments, and extol the benefits of advertising with your favorite radio station. Send your resume to jobs at 1580thefanatic.com.
When you run a business, you need to be in control. And while you can't control everything that happens in the world of business, you can definitely take control of your utility expenses with the help of Harmon Solar. Give them a call and see how your company can save up to 80% on that monthly electric bill. Harmon Solar is a local family-owned company that uses top-of-the-line equipment. Call Harmon Solar, 800-281-3189. That's 800-281-3189. Or go to harmonsolar.com.
When it comes to automotive repairs, where do you start? Been looking for a new home? Should you rent or buy? If you're looking for the latest trends in the automotive industry or real estate, look no further than the Drive Friendly Radio Show. Hosted by Steve, with over 40 years in the automotive industry, and Felicia, who's well established in the real estate market, you can get great advice and insight you can trust. You'll be smarter for listening, and maybe you'll have a little fun, too. The Drive Friendly Radio Show, Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
For a good time, listen to the Daily Blender.
Boogie says, are there any sports books laying lines on high school football in Arizona?
I was in the deep south where nothing is more important than high school football, and no.
Then I announce the beginning of the Daily Blender Sportsbook for high school betting only. We might fail as a sports book.
It's
especially if we start with high school betting. That might be a thing where the government comes and shuts us down immediately.
The Daily Blender, weekdays 3 to 6 on 1580 The Fanatic.
Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic, Arizona's sports betting station. Coming up, 4:30 p.m., Westwood One takes over with their broadcast of the Saints and the Seahawks. Another one of those teams being sort of comparably bad and playing each other and turning into a good game. Or will it? I don't know. I feel like this is one of those games where suddenly Jameis Winston looks like a genius and Geno Smith starts spilling out applications at Applebee's. You know, I just I don't know. What do you think? Is it going to be a game, or is it going to be that kind of game?
I have no idea. That is my big issue with all of this. Is I think that there are pieces there that could make it a good game. Like the defenses have been playing, pretty well. You still have, I don't know. That's really what I'm coming down on this. The quarterbacks ruin everything here because Jameis is so inconsistent and Geno is Geno.
Gotcha. Well, I think Geno is Fino. Okay. Fed Fan is saying that she's, if she remembers right, the deep fried Coca-Cola was in batter form, and I guess it was like a little bonbon thing, a little soft thing, little like a donut hole, I guess. I don't know the best way to describe it. She says, but I probably won't do that again. And she's also saying that she's okay. What is going on here? Sorry, that was mine. Are we on air? Can you verify we're actually on air?
We actually are.
Okay. It's going to be that kind of day, I think. She says she's going to send over your pumpkin that she made. She's already carved it up and made it, and she's going to UPS it to the station. And she's also assuring me that there's a treat in there for Randy and I, too. Ooh, goody. Thank you, fam. As always, you don't have to do anything, but I think it's only appropriate that Keon gets his own super awesome Fed Fan pumpkin for the Halloween.
I'm excited about it. I really
Don't put it outside. Put it in your window. People will steal it. I guarantee they will steal it.
Okay. It's going in the house.
I don't even care what, how nice, a neighborhood you live in. I don't care what neighborhood. Put it inside. People will steal it. It's very nice. King of Kittens, thank you for that. Rough Rob says, afternoon, guys. Sad face with a teardrop. Get you man card violation, by the way. The crying does. And then the emoji. Says, I'm sad my Dodgers lost this weekend. Also, word is Aaron Rodgers having back issues. We'll talk about that later. And might actually help out the Cardinals on Thursday night. You think, but it won't. And I'll explain why in a little bit. Wing Guru says, if Blender took place in high school, Keon would be the guy who hung out with the cool kids. Randy would be the one who hung out with the jocks. And Jeffrey would be the bully who took your lunch money. I'm not a bully. I actually stood up for all the little nerds getting pushed around by the cool kids who were actually the bullies. I had to beat the hell out of a couple of guys once for picking on some kid in a wheelchair. And yes, after I did that, that little guy in the wheelchair followed me around everywhere. And I mean everywhere. He was always there. Hi, Jeffrey. And I was like, hey, how you doing? Bob Schwersky said, hey, Jeffrey, I did not wish the COVID's on the Nagy. I only wished bad emails or quarantine or something like that. So don't die. Don't think I did this. You kind of did that, Bob Schwersky.
A little bit.
Mr. Pringle says, all these football players testing positive. Aren't they vaxxed? Yeah, he says, nobody's dying? Am I still supposed to be scared? No, you're just supposed to continue to be ignorant, Mr. Pringle. Job well done. King of Kittens says, I want a Fed fan treat. Well, we know what kind of treat you want, King of Kittens. You'll have to wait till she comes to remote to even try. Wing Guru says, oh, I'm just having a little fun with you, Jeff Gove. You're a good dude, and you're a funny guy. Thank you. Just waiting for the next text to drop after the compliment. It's always the way it is. Okay. Always the way it is around here. All right, let's get to some things because we need to get to some other things. And one of the things we need to get to is I was just like this, couldn't even speak. Yeah. All is right in the world. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't know. I don't know if I follow.
The World Series matchup has been set, and yes, the cheating Astros, they're back, but the Puig in our pool Dodgers are out. Hooray! Now I've got a villain and I got a hero. Okay, I got the villain, the Houston Astros, and the hero, the Atlanta Braves. I am now officially, unless you tell me a reason I shouldn't be, I am now a fan of the Atlanta Braves throughout this World Series.
There is no reason not to be.
Are there emails? Are there scandals? Is there anything I need to know before I put my full support behind the Atlanta Braves?
No, there really isn't anything to know. The Braves are a class organization. I know I've
been hurt before, Keon. Are you sure?
I am sure. They had a player early in the year had a domestic violence thing in Marcell Ozuna. They got him out of there immediately. So, I mean, as quickly as they could have handled that. And that's a guy that they paid a lot of money and they didn't hesitate at all. No, I think the Braves are absolutely the perfect team to root for.
All right. So something to be happy about. It's the sign-stealing Houston Astros versus the good guy Atlanta Braves. Now, the Astros are back for the third time in 5 years. They defeated, I'm using air quotes because they cheated. Well, I'm not gonna use air quotes on cheated because they cheated. The Dodgers back in 2017, which by the way, I wasn't that mad about because it's the Dodgers, you know what I'm saying?
Like if it had to be anybody.
If it's going to be someone, yeah. And then they lost to the Nationals, your team, back in 2019. For a guy who is always so hung dog about his Washington teams, you got to be still eating out on that one, right? Having dinners on that one and raising drinks to that team, right?
I am. I love that
team. Just 2 years ago.
But they blew the team up afterwards. Just traded everybody away. Championship window closed.
You're right. They did the same thing with the Diamondbacks back in 2001. Just when I got used to the bizarre batting stance of Craig Counsell, just as I started to think, that Randy Johnson, he's kind of attractive. Just as I started to think that, wow, this is a team of destiny. Now it's a team. Where the hell they go? What is it? They just started breaking off the team like before you could even say congratulations.
Yeah, and two of my favorite players, they sent them to the Dodgers.
Ooh, that's got to hurt.
Very painful. Very painful for me.
That is the worst kind of hurt right there. Yeah, I'm sorry for your loss, Keon.
Yeah.
But now you're back to what you're used to. Chronic, horrific losing as a Washington, D.C. sports fan.
Well, I'm going to always have 2019.
Yeah. You just keep reminding yourself that. But basically, with whatever sport you're getting your ass whipped in, just keep remembering that. So, of course, now, we have to ask the question, Are we sure the Astros didn't cheat to get here? Are we sure the Astros aren't going to turn around and cheat the Atlanta Braves?
I tend to believe that the Astros did not cheat to get here. And it's the reputation of one man, and that is Dusty Baker, their manager. Dusty would not allow it. So unless they found some way to cheat that Dusty is just not in on entirely and isn't aware of or whatever, then no, I don't believe that they cheated.
So the Braves are back after 22 years, and I don't know if you remember or were old enough, but the Braves, man, they were dominant back in the 90s. They made the World Series 5 times in 8 years. They only won once over the Cleveland Indians. They lost the Minnesota Twins, the Toronto Blue Jays, and the Yankees twice. Those dirty bastards. And so here we are tomorrow night. I think what time does the game start? Like 5-ish tomorrow, something like that.
Yeah, let me go ahead and check that.
So, I would have liked to seen all the cheaters out, but by God, I'm okay with this World Series. Now, what you also have to do for me, Keon, is tell me, do I want to know the odds? Do I want to know the odds for the Atlanta Braves to take down the cheating Astros?
For the whole series, because the game 1 odds have the Astros favored. Also, that first pitch is 5:10 tomorrow.
Okay. All right. So, do the Braves have a chance here? I mean, and don't tell me, well, every game's got to be played. You know what I'm asking? Do they have a legitimate shot to beat the Astros, or the Astros too much of a juggernaut right now to be taken down by anybody?
I think that they have a legitimate shot. They are hitting the ball incredibly well, and they've got some young guys that they've been developing for a while. Christian Pash, Austin Riley, and in addition to guys like Dansby Swanson, who they've had forever. I mean, that Freddie Freeman, of course, is a staple of that organization. They hit the ball well enough. They could hang with the Astros. The pitching worries me a little bit, but they've been pitching really well too. So if they continue to play the way that they've been playing, I think that they could cause the upset here. I think it'll be a closer series than people realize.
Well, I hope so. And I'm putting all I care about behind the Atlanta Braves.
I am too. And that's my divisional rival, the Braves there. But A, the Braves are just a classy organization. And B, I can't stand the Astros. There's no way that I can root for them. It's going to be all Braves in my house.
Just the tips. As long as we're on the subject, F the Dyers. And last year was the asterisk season. This year proves that they weren't worthy last season. Did I mention F the Dyers? Yes, I think you did. He says, go Atlanta. Jiggy says, who cares? Colts looked amazing last night. You stop yourself right there. You stop yourself right there. No, they did not. We're going to talk about that game later. Yes, I'm happy that my Colts won, but it was not amazing. It was not anything like that. It was an ugly, brutal, soggy game where Mr. Carson Wentz made dumb mistakes after dumb mistakes, and just sheer damn luck he didn't get completely destroyed going the other direction. It was horrific. Yes, Leonard is first team All-Pro. Yes, playing like the best linebacker in football. You'd be excited about that aspect of defense, but holy cow. Berg was like, hey, don't ever complain about a win. Did you see the game? No, that was bad. It was bad. Ugh. Did you watch the game last night, Kim?
Yeah, I caught a little bit of it.
Yeah, because you turned it off, didn't you? It was so bad you couldn't watch the whole thing.
It was tough to watch. I thought that there were just so many mistakes going both ways. The score 30-18 is not indicative of how ugly that game was.
Yeah, that it was. I don't want to talk about that yet. I'd rather talk about the good news, bad news that we got from the Phoenix Suns. First, they defeated the Lakers. Hooray! Very happy about that. And there's trouble in Hollywood land because Dwight Howard, Anthony Davis got a little bit chippy with each other, not the other team. And, it was a nice night. Chris Paul scored his 20,000th career point. And, the Suns beat him by 10 points in Los Angeles. That wasn't even a home game. So there was a lot to be happy about. There was a lot to be like, hooray, okay, so that first game was just a little bump in the road, no problem. And okay, let's go play the Trailblazers. Oh, dear God, what happened? What the hell happened? Why? What is going on with these Phoenix Suns Listen, don't panic. It's just the beginning of the season, but can you put a finger on in 3 games what is going on here?
Yeah, it's just been inconsistent shooting so far to start the season. I do know that, of course, I believe the Trailblazers was the second night of a back-to-back, which generally is not good for most NBA teams. But it's the inconsistency that I'm having trouble wrapping my head around. And also,
Booker had only 21 points.
Yeah, and he took 19 shots. It just wasn't like an efficient night for him. Shooting the basketball, though he was more aggressive than he was in the first game of the season when the shots weren't going down. When you have to volume shoot, that's really not a good sign for this team.
Well, I don't know what this team is at the moment. Just glad to beat the Lakers. It's always a feather in the cap, but when you go down like that to the Trailblazers, now I'm starting to get a little bit nervous, starting to get a little bit worried. Now the Suns will play Sacramento Kings on Wednesday. And we didn't have Cameron Payne. He had a right hamstring strain on Friday night. So I don't know if that, I don't think that would have made that big of a difference, but sometimes, your 6th man coming off the bench. Yeah, that can mess you up.
Especially the guy that fills in for Chris Paul, because Chris Paul had a bad game too. 4 points. He didn't really shoot the ball well. He wasn't very aggressive. He wasn't trying to get to that spot on the floor that he loves to shoot from so much, that fadeaway. So, just a lot of lackluster basketball in that game. It feels like Devin Booker was the only person who showed up to play, and he just had another bad shooting night.
We have to ask how many games in on this season before we start to get worried.
I think a significant amount of games, because I do think that they are going to.
Wait, was significant being 20?
Yeah, like 25 games.
Seriously?
Because I just don't think that this is a team that, last year was an outlier kind of team. Like this team.
Well, Pringle's calling it a fluke. He says, just face it, last year was a fluke for the Suns.
How could it be a fluke? How do you fluke your way to the finals?
In fact, fluke you, Mr. Pringle.
The NBA is like the one sport where, because of 7 games, the series that it takes to get there, you can't possibly fluke your way to an NBA finals. They were a great team last year, right? They won the 51 games in the 72 game season that we talked about last week. So no, that they're not a fluke, but you played a longer season than everybody else. And I do think that some of the older guys on the team, it's getting a little bit to them, but they just got to refocus.
All right. Well, let's see what happens here over the next few games. I don't know if I'm going to get 25 games in before I have a little bit of concern or whatnot, but all right. And before we go to break here, and after we come back, I'll tell you what, we're talking nothing but all of yesterday's NFL games. We got through it last week. Well, I'm going to try to get through it again this week. Should be okay because there were less games. But if you're wondering how the Coyotes are doing, they have not won yet. They've lost 5 in a row already. There it is right there. They just lost to the Islanders. Panthers are up next, I guess that's today, isn't it?
Yeah.
Panthers from where?
Florida, but I couldn't tell you exactly where.
No. It's weird when some hockey teams have the same name as some football teams. It's a little bit odd. Anyway, so 5 losses in a row for the Arizona Coyotes. Hooray. Let's see. FedFan says, I think it's a residual effect from last season. Might take a while to get back into a groove. Also, teams are gunning for the Suns now. Yeah, I noticed that. They were like pouring Gatorade on people and cheering there in Portland after that win. And you're absolutely right. There's a target on the back of the Suns. And once they started getting good last year, that target became very apparent as well. So something you're going to have to just get used to. Wayne Guru says, it's the Florida Panthers. They play in Miami. Yeah, why not? Why not? All right, when we come back, let's start her up. We're going to talk about the Arizona Cardinals win and all the other games from yesterday. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic.
Sip and save at Circle K with our great new drink subscription. Join Sip and Save today and enjoy 1 drink a day every day for just $5.99 a month. Enjoy your favorite Circle K ice cold fountain drink, Froster, or freshly ground coffee every day. That's 30 drinks a month for only $5.99. So sip and save at Circle K. Sign up in store or at CircleK.com. Circle K, take it easy.
Time for some smart saving. Put money aside, not your child's future education.
I'm Arizona State Treasurer Kimberly Yee. The sooner you start an AZ 529 education savings plan, the more money you'll have when your little one graduates high school. Invest just $15 a month and you could have thousands of dollars saved for their education needs. Go to az529.gov so when it's time to achieve their dreams, they can.
Now that's smart saving. Sponsored by the Office of the Arizona State Treasurer.
I represent low-cost airlines, and we know a lot of you are not traveling right now, and we understand. However, if you do need to travel between now and the end of the year, now is a great time to lock in some of the lowest prices we've seen in a lifetime. Hey, in normal times, we can save you up to 75%, but now airlines are practically giving away seats. We have inside deals on over 500 airlines. Here are a few sample round-trip deals we found. Seattle to Vegas, $35. Chicago to Atlanta, $85. Los Angeles to Atlanta, $100. Of course, there are some limitations, but the airlines want your business right now. And cancellation and change fees are flexible. So fly somewhere this year, book now, save a ton, call right now.
802-341-4535. 802-341-4535. 802-341-4535. That's 802-341-4535.
Every year, millions of men, women, and children are sex trafficked worldwide, including right here in your own backyard. Victims can be of any socioeconomic background, age, race, gender, or nationality. Traffickers take advantage of individuals who are susceptible for a variety of reasons: violence, manipulation, or false promises of providing shelter and food. Well-paying jobs or romantic relationships are the tactics used to lure victims into trafficking situations. This can happen in any community. CC's Hope Center's mission is to improve the life and future of young women ages 18 to 24 who are at risk or victims of human trafficking and sexual exploitation. Attend the November 9th, 2021 Night of Light event and learn more about the issue while supporting this worthy cause. CC's Hope Center is a nonprofit 501c3 and an Arizona qualified charitable organization. You can receive an Arizona tax credit for your donation. For more information, go to ccscenter.org. That's CECES center.org or call 480-465-7044.
We give you so much sports, you'll have to hit the showers after listening. 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, and always on at 1580thefanatic.com.
The Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic, Arizona's sports betting station. Got some college football for you on Saturday. Got Notre Dame taking on North Carolina on our sister station, Money Radio, 1510 and 105.3 FM. And then we have college basketball starting back up again. We got a special game with GCU, Grand Canyon University. This is taking on Western New Mexico. That'll be Saturday at 6 p.m. here on 1580 The Fanatic. So good to see the Mighty Lopes come back and return to the airways with 1580 The Fanatic. Wingroo, it did bother me a little bit that he said that I would have been a bully if the Blender was a high school thing. He later said he was kidding, but I was just like, you probably should understand something. I would only be a bully if, provoked, or if I saw somebody doing something they shouldn't to someone else. Then Wingroo, here's what I would do. Not only would I come around and bully you mercilessly, I would also take your mom to prom while you and your dad stood there crying. That's what I would do. But no, not without provocation.
So the sliding scale is Jeffrey at peace, or
super nice guy,
just a terror if you're provoked.
Yeah, and see, you do that once, and nobody else wants anything to do with you. They're like, no, we're cool, Jeffrey, we're cool. Yeah, and that That's just the way I roll, man. 888-368-1580. King Coyote says yes. The Coyotes are playing in. King Kitten says at 4 p.m. in Tampa tonight. Wow. I guess we'll talk about the loss tomorrow. Blissful Hayes says Suns would be undefeated if they'd given Ayton a max contract. That Ayton and Sarver drama is going to be a huge distraction. I don't believe that. I actually do not believe that. I did not have a chance to see any of the games. I don't know if you did, Keon, but what is the word on the at least the effort being put out by DeAndre Ayton right now?
It looks good to me. I mean, at least on the defensive end, especially. I thought I watched the Laker game. And I thought he looked fantastic in that game. He was
okay. I'm glad you actually watched, because when you say it looks good to me, I mean, listen, everything looks good to me because I can't be bothered. I have to call my wife in from another room if the remote control is out of reach. So everything somebody else does effort wise looks good to me. So when you say looks good to me, you mean legitimately he's making an effort.
Legitimately, he's making an effort, and he's taking on the challenge of going up against some of these other bigs that are out there. Went right at Anthony Davis, and then Dwight Howard, and then of course those two guys argue on the sideline, and he just is calling for the ball. Like, I really thought that he wanted to be involved in the offense and try and initiate some things, because he can be at times passive when that happens. And I think that they're a better basketball team for him wanting to be in those spots. So he just has to keep that up. But he was also one of those guys that had a bad night the other night too, against the Blazers. But everybody did. It's just they're going to have to be playing like their best basketball every night now.
All right. Well, enough of the Phoenix Suns. We sort of keep an eye on that and see how they do. But let's get to the undefeated Arizona Cardinals. Not a big surprise that they beat the Texans, not at all. And the start of the game was a little bit concerning, though. The field goal and the safety when they got Kyler Murray back in the end zone, and that's just the thing still where young Kyler Murray needs to be smarter than that, get rid of the ball faster, whether it's to a person or just he doesn't like to throw it away. And then he ends up holding the ball too long, and now the other team gets the ball back and 2 points on the board. So outside of that, it went about the way you thought it would, 31-5. And DeAndre Hopkins and JJ Watt, they were both very, very happy to go ahead and send their old team home with a big old fat L. And that's great. That's great. But, and seeing Zach Ertz come out and immediately catch the first ball thrown to him and then later get a touchdown, that was great also. I don't know. Is there anything that we have to complain about in this game other than the fact that Kyler Murray took a lot of shots? I don't know what is going on with the Cardinals' offensive line, but it's offensive.
It is offensive, and I do think that some of the shots that Kyler takes are on them. But I do think some of the shots that Kyler takes are on Kyler. He just wants to make plays so bad. He does hold on to the ball entirely too long. And those are the kinds of sacks that quarterbacks can avoid if, every now and then you just say, hey, I'm going to throw this away. I'm going to live to fight another day. But they also did have a similarly slow start against the Jaguars too. It's just some of these weaker opponents, they don't get into high gear until like the second and third quarter. And then once they get rolling, they're off to the races. There's just not a whole lot to complain about here, though. They steamrolled the team they were supposed to steamroll, and you feel good about it.
Yeah, and that's the end of that. And Kyler Murray says he's okay. He's got a little bit of little bruising. He's going to be okay for Thursday, I'm sure. Sounds like he might be in better shape than Aaron Rodgers, who's having some old man Aaron problems. He woke up with a bad back. He didn't. It wasn't after the game. This was Sunday morning. He's like, "Oh, my back locked up on me." Okay, Dad. Oh, my back. And so they worked on him, and he was okay. It might be why he seemed like he was in a very good mood. He might have been doped up. He might have had some painkiller action going there, and he's just like, "All right, man." You might want to pull up the drug testing cart up to his house. Forget about Myles Garrett just because he lifts weight. Aaron Rodgers, clearly, I don't know, if he's in a good mood, should be an automatic drug test because he always looks like he's upset and pissed off at everybody who plays with him.
Well, no, I do think that he does have some of those games though, where it's just so easy for him. It does look like he's having fun. So I don't know if it was a combination of the two things, the drugs for his back, and also he was playing a horrible football team and having a grand old time.
Sure. And having a grand old time. It was good to see Zach Ertz out there. And it's funny hearing these guys who come to the Cardinals from other teams, and they kind of look around and like, so this is what it's supposed to be like? What have I been missing? He says, quote, I've never seen so much green grass in the middle of the field.
Yeah. Zach Ertz is a guy who has played with a number of players who have basically thrown passes to him into impossibly tight windows and just asked him to make a miracle. And because he's a good football player, he's made miracles.
And he's taking a beating for it.
Yeah. He no longer has to do that. There's one-on-one matchups everywhere.
Right, because you got DeAndre Hopkins over there, you got AJ Green over there. That defense has more than just you to deal with. So, yes, going to be some more green grass in the middle of the field. Man coverage, at least you'll have to take one guy out. But if you're tall enough, big enough, and have a dream, Zach, that ball is yours. And we saw it happen. In fact, I was surprised they didn't throw more to him.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised too, because it's there and it's going to continue to be there the entire time. But he'll have plenty of opportunities to have games where it's going to be the Zach Ertz game, where that's the game plan and it's going to work out.
Fed Fan says, not trying to piss off Randy, but boy, Kyler Murray looked like the youngest of the family running around the yard trying to keep his brothers from tackling him. Yeah, he always does. He always looks, and I'm glad Randy's not here, because I don't mean this in a bad way. Listen, Kyler Murray, legit. I've said that for quite some time. But the facts are he's short. And that's the thing. That's absolutely a thing. And it's very noticeable when you see him up next to his own line, which is 6'5", 6'4", 6'3", 6'5". And, it's a noticeable difference. And I don't know how the commentators say with a straight face that he's 5'10". Come on, man.
I mean,
but then you see the receiver, what's his name? Rondell Moore, who is about the same height as he is, out there running around. I'm sorry, it's a noticeable thing. It's not like we're being mean. He ain't normal size. That's all there is to say, Fed Fan. So, but yeah, get it out of your system now, because I don't want to aggravate Randy when he comes back tomorrow.
Because the Daily Blender chief official is going to be back tomorrow, and he's got a bag full of flags.
Yep. Blissful Hayes, get it out of your system. He says Kyler was a little bruised yesterday. Impossible to be large bruises. Yeah, okay, that's enough. By the way, Cliff Kingsbury coming back from the COVID. Sometimes people should say stuff inside, not outside. Meaning, you could think that, but don't say it out loud, because all it's going to do is cause questions. He says he felt a little disconnected in returning to the sideline. He said that I didn't feel as into the game as I usually am. I just showed up on game day and I just felt funky. He says, usually I call those plays over and I go through them over and over throughout the week. Kyler Murray and I have had the dialogue, but that was the first time I'd have gone over them when I was out there. So it didn't feel like the same rhythm, the same comfort level. I just felt more on edge than I normally do after 6 days of preparation. He got the COVID fog. That's what he's got. He got the COVID fog.
Yeah, it happens. It's a real thing. I'm fortunate enough to not have had COVID, but everyone I know that has had it has told me, like, you come back and you're not quite yourself. You're not quite as dialed in as you'd like to be. And that's a little scary, but yeah, I think that's one of those things where you Bill Belichick it, you keep that information to yourself, if for no other reason than you don't want your opponents to have it.
So any other comments on the Arizona Cardinals, blowout win over the Houston Texans yesterday? Anything else to add to this before we move on to the other games?
Yeah, the only thing that I can really add to it is I'm just glad this team is handling their business. It would be very easy for them to have not taken the Texans seriously, let them hang around in the game, and then try to destroy them late. Second quarter, they put up 17 points, just went ahead and put them to sleep and went right about their business. And I like the way that this team is so mature in how they do all of that stuff. That's pretty much it.
Take no team and no situation for granted. Always play like it's a tie game and you're just desperate for the win. Never take your feet off the gas. whatever other analogies and sports isms you want to throw in there. And you're right. So far, it would seem like the Arizona Cardinals are heading in the right direction on that. So let's get to the games. I know we only have about a minute left in this hour, but in the next hour and a half, we're going to talk about all the games. And oh my God, I still managed to miss 3 of my picks already. I missed 3. I think you're, again, Keon, you're catching me. I think you're doing better than me.
I missed a bunch.
Really?
Yeah, I missed about 4.
Ooh, okay. Well, then, yay me. But I know there's some super fans out there who picked way betters, which means I think I'm going to get knocked out of that top spot this week. And we had some surprises. We had some really, really lopsided scores.
A lot of blowouts.
I don't think we had any really good games, though, did we?
No.
Didn't feel like it. Felt like a clunky weekend.
Well, a lot of hard to watch football.
And unless you won bets out there, then you had a great weekend, and that's what I like to hear. All right, kids, we're taking this break. We'll be back. We'll talk about all the games from Sunday. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic.
You might not know it, but your small business IT systems can leave you and your customers vulnerable. At Affinity Technology, we provide peace of mind by ensuring your computer systems are working and are safe from hackers and outside threats. We solve technology problems for small business. No confusing tech talk or black box setups. If it plugs in, we work with it. Contact us today at atechaz.com. That's atechaz.com. Affinity Technology.
Sip and save at Circle K with our great new drink subscription. Join Sip and Save today and enjoy 1 drink a day every day for just $5.99 a month. Enjoy your favorite Circle K ice cold fountain drink, Froster, or freshly ground coffee every day. That's 30 drinks a month for only $5.99. So sip and save at Circle K. Sign up in store or at CircleK.com. Circle K, take it easy.
Contractors, listen up. This is Bruce Jacobs. Are you missing out on jobs due to lack of bonding? When your current bonding holds you back, call Arizona's #1 bond managers at Constructors Bonding. They have the market relationships and expertise to take you where you want to go, serving all types of contractors of any size and license in all states. When you need better bonding, call Dave McKee at Constructors Bonding, 602-432-5929, or visit cbialliance.com.
DQ presents. Picture this. Picture yourself at DQ on Thursday, October 28th for Miracle Treat Day. You roll up to order a Blizzard with your friends and family like you have so many times before. But on this day, every flavor comes with a much-needed dose of hope. For every Blizzard you buy at participating locations, $1 or more will be donated to your local Children's Miracle Network hospital, making Miracle Treat Day the most satisfying way to give hope to kids in your community. Thursday, October 28th at DQ.
Mortgage interest rates remain near historic lows. So whether you're wanting to lower your interest rate, take cash out to remodel your home, or pay off credit card or installment debt, now is the perfect time to refinance or purchase a home. Call David White at 480-244-6625. 480-244-6625 to review your mortgage options and to take advantage of David's 32 years of industry experience, incredible customer service, and competitive interest rates. We shop the market for the best interest rates so you don't have to. So call David at 480-244-6625. That's 480-244-6625. Call David now to discuss your mortgage options and before interest rates go up at 480-244-6625. That's 480-244-6625. Don't wait. Call today and take advantage of the low rates. David White, NMLS 322907 of AmeriFirst Financial Inc. NMLS 145368, an equal housing opportunity lender.
KQFN Tempe, also transmitting on K25CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM and K2.4 Rolling Hills at 95.9 FM.
All right, people, settle down.
Because it's time.
Time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it.
All right, everybody, it's 3 o'clock here on the Daily Blender, and a good friend, radio pal, Jeffrey O'Brien, not alongside Randy White. He's got just one more day of vacation left. He'll be back with us again tomorrow. Got Keon Rose pushing the buttons, and you guys are on the Fanatic text line, 888-368-1580, as we broadcast live in the Harvard Solar Studio in Scottsdale. Now, we've already talked about the Cardinals' win over the Houston Texans. Oh, what a thriller. But there is a good question from Blissful Hayes. He says, why did Chandler Jones miss the game yesterday, but Kingsbury was able to coach? It's about the timing of, I guess, the tests. If it was Chandler Jones COVID, yeah, I think he was COVID,
He was,
and
yeah.
so was the coach. You have to have, if you've been vaccinated, you have to have 2 negative COVID tests in a row within a certain amount of time to get back in. And so you can either assume that Chandler Jones still did not show clear yet, or he wasn't vaccinated, so now they're going to make him wait longer. I don't know the facts on that, but I'll tell you what, in that game, they didn't need him. Don't know what the story is on if he'll be back in time for Thursday or not, but it's not always a conspiracy, guys. Sometimes it's just 1 + 1 = 2.
If I recall correctly, sorry to interrupt you there, but if I recall correctly, I do think Chandler Jones did test positive for COVID after Cliff did too. So he's a little bit later in the timeline also.
Well, hopefully if he was vaccinated and he gets the negative test, he'll be ready for Thursday because they're going to need him. You're going up against Aaron Rodgers and those Packers. You're going to need it. Last Optimist says Chandler was in the building with the team and they decided not to activate him, let him recover longer, even though he passed the COVID test. Well, that then gives you the idea that they're talking about recover from injury or because the COVID actually gave him some symptoms. That is an interesting tidbit right there. Thanks for that, Last Optimist. He says, good afternoon, gentlemen. The atmosphere at the stadium was great yesterday when it was difficult to find a Houston fan around. That's right. You protected the nest. There wasn't a whole lot of Houston fans out there. You know why? Because there's not a whole lot of Houston fans out there.
might be one of the easiest protections of the nest that's ever happened.
Yeah. It's going to be a different story altogether on Thursday, kids. Thundar Sam Barbarians says, happy Monday, guys. Well, I listened to you guys, and I got the Denver-Cleveland game wrong. I didn't think the Giants would score their season's allotment of points against Carolina, so I missed that one, too. I was also wrong about Indianapolis, but it's always good to see horses stomp the heads of the 40-winers, so I'll happily take that loss. All right, we are going to talk about all these games, and you know what? A lot of this stuff, we were surprised too. But let's go ahead and start out with the Bengals blowout over the Ravens. If I were to tell you there was a blowout in Baltimore and the Cincinnati Bengals were involved, you'd automatically think, oh, those poor Bengals, not again. Well, what the hell happened? 41-17. Help me out here, Keon, because I have DirecTV. I saw it with my own eyes, and I still don't understand.
Yeah, that was one of those games I had to go back and watch the highlights of later because I didn't have it on where I was. But that Joe Burrow-Jamar Chase connection is strong. And I know that the Ravens are dinged up defensively, but that defense had been playing really well this year. They actually had made some teams have to actually figure out what they're doing defensively. And they've gotten some stops in key moments and big games. So I didn't think that they were just going to be torn to shreds by Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and Joe Mixon, but that's exactly what happened. The Ravens didn't have any answers to stop the Bengals. And I don't know if I've ever seen the Bengals look that good offensively, maybe in my entire life.
Or defensively, they sacked Jackson 5 times.
And I just don't know.
And he's mobile.
He not only is he mobile, he is arguably the most mobile quarterback in the entire league. And he was also throwing the ball really well going into this game. And none of that seemed to really matter. And I don't know what to think either. It's the Bengals. They're not supposed to be doing this.
So I got that one wrong.
Me too.
I would imagine everyone else did. I was also wrong because I'm looking at my notes from my pick sheet and it says good game ? I should probably scratch out the question mark and put a big fat no next to it because it wasn't a good game. It was a friggin' blowout. It was horrible. And of course, the Baltimore fans got good and liquored up so much so one of them tried to get inside the Ravens radio booth And you hear the guy, they're on there. It's like, all right, from the 35 yards line. Wait, what are you? What are you doing? You hear the background. I'm a veteran. I'm trying to find some beer. And it's like, well, dude, you've had enough beer. I'm not even making this up. The audio for this is out there. And he's like, I don't serve drinks, dude. I just, trying to call a game here. Get out. And where was security during all this?
That's what I want to know is that someone's wandering around the stadium looking for beer and they get all the way up to the press box. Someone should have seen something.
Yeah, I wonder if Jerry Sandusky or Obafemi Ayanbadeo, am I saying his name right? I wonder if one of those two guys pissed off the security, big leagued them, said something to them, and they're like, oh, okay, we'll see how you do by yourself. Just kind of walks off to the concourse. Here comes some well-meaning veteran, just like, well, this seems like a place they'd have beer behind this closed door that says broadcast. Okay. So, but nobody was hurt. No word on what happens to the guy, if anything. But so there you go. That is that. The Bengals just not the team they used to be. Is this a team to take seriously right now?
I think you have to. If for no other reason, and they clearly have the talent to put up points on anybody. I don't know that defense is going to play this well week in and week out because they haven't, but offensively it's there. And Joe Burrow is firing on all cylinders right now. And we talk about our young gun quarterbacks we like to keep an eye on. He is back to last season, Joe Burrow, before he got hurt.
It seems like it. Thundar San Barbarian says, Joe Burrow is my quarterback in League 5. So Cincy Baltimore was a great game for me. Blissful Hayes says Joe Marlboro for MVP. Yeah, all right. I'll tell you what, it's exciting to see that kid seemed to have a lot of promise before he got hurt. So it's fun to see Cincinnati, coming back around, man. Next game up. Sorry, Keon. I'm just sorry.
Okay.
The Packers 6-1 is a very weak 6-1. Even weaker now after having beaten the Washington football team. You got 10 points. I'm trying to find some positive things to say about this.
They should have had more points, but there was a Taylor Heineke slid before he ended up in the end zone. So that wasn't a touchdown.
Between your quarterback and my quarterback, somebody needs to make a video and show these idiots. your guy, he's like, I'm going to run this far and drop right before the line. And what I love is that he says afterwards, he's like, I don't want to get fined here, but I know I was in the end zone. No, you weren't. You weren't even close to the end zone. Okay. Your knee was down. And what was a good foot or two? The ball was like about a foot or two outside.
I don't know if it was an entire foot, but it was so obviously outsid. It wasn't
sad.
Even close to breaking the plane. It was very obvious.
It's like this guy goes, I know in my heart that I was in. No, dude, all you got to do is watch a video screen and you will see. And it doesn't make any sense. Why? And here, can I just tell you, Keon, your game was the most interesting game to watch on Sunday morning. So I ended up watching a lot of it and asking myself, why did I watch that? And then asking, why would Hinkie, you went that far. You went that far. Why? Because what?
And the thing is, this is a guy whose signature move is diving into the end zone. Like that's the big play that Washington fans will remember. He dives for the pylon. He did it again earlier this year, by the way, scored on that too. Here's a good opportunity to get into the end zone, and he slides like a foot short of the end zone. I don't know. I don't get it either. Okay. I don't get it.
After all that, he's like, well, that'll do it. Pump.
And then they went for it on the fourth down afterwards, and he gets stopped or fumbles. I didn't have the sound on the game, so I don't know exactly what it was, but it was just sad just watching it play
I feel
out
like
in real
calling
time.
you up and asking for my money back because that was horrible. It was horrible. And of course, I got Devontae Adams in fantasy football, so that's the real reason I kept going back and forth. But that was just sad.
And it's a shame because that game, the defense actually showed like they had a pulse.
For a minute.
They were getting after Aaron Rodgers, at least in the first half. They sacked him, which is huge because there are a lot of no sack games this season where they just didn't get there. I actually thought the defense played decently well, but you go for it on 4th down 4 times, Ron Rivera, and get it no times, then that's the kind of game you have.
Some really bad decisions were made in the coaching and playing of that game. And the other thing, if you're the Packers, you have to look around and go, well, everybody else got blowouts. No, you didn't. You didn't. You had trouble with the Washington football team. Thursday's not going to go well for you, no matter what, Packers. Thursday's not going to go well. And I'm sorry to use you as an example, Keon. I feel bad.
I feel bad too, if it means anything.
Well, you better be ready for the eventual announcements of all the COVID cases that are going to get announced on your Washington football team, because it turns out the Packers filthy with the COVID. Devontae Adams today, he is now on the COVID-19 reserve list, and I don't know. Here's what it says. The NFL rules say fully vaccinated players can return as soon as they submit 2 negative tests at 24 hours apart, which means he could get in there depending on, the next test he takes that's negative, and then 24 hours the next one. But I'd say you will be lucky to see either him or Joe Barry, the defensive coordinator, out there. And I think you are going to see some more people pop positive because of proximity. And I wouldn't be surprised, like I said, Keon, you're going to see some of your team end up on the COVID too.
I mean, you have to think so. I mean, Devontae Adams was out there. He's playing very well. But, you're that close to defensive backs and linebackers and safeties. I can't imagine somehow none of them winds up getting the COVID.
So Aaron Rodgers already dealing with issues. He said that he woke up with his back all locked up. And so, yeah, I don't know what they gave him. He looked pretty happy to have it. And, maybe that's why they only won by that small amount. Maybe you had a drunk Aaron Rodgers in there. You know what I mean? An altered Aaron, if you will. He's wacky on the painkillers there.
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible. It did help. Hey, if you're going to have that kind of a problem, you're going to have a back issue or whatever. If you're playing Washington that week, then you get a victory that doesn't require you to be at your best. Let's say,
or even fully awake. I mean, let's just be honest. And here's the thing: Taylor Heineke worrying. He's like, I don't want to get fined. The only way you get fined is if anybody listens to you. Nobody cares what you say. You are not going to get fined. All right. Sorry. I'm right. I don't mean to be mean to your team, Keon.
Yeah, it's good. Look, we wanted to know what we had in Taylor Heineke. He's a backup. That's what we know
there you go.
Now. So Taylor Heineke's opinions are he's allowed to put them out there. It's just not that anybody cares.
Yeah, I can't believe that actually ended up in print. All right, so it seems like a lot of people want to talk about last night's game, so I'm going to go ahead and cut the line and give the listeners what they want, give the super fans of the Fourth Dimension what they want, and that is to talk about that rainy, what they call it, a bomb storm, a bomb flurry. What was that thing called? Bomb cyclone. That's what it is. Basically, a river of water came in from the ocean and just sort of all over, the Bay Area and there in San Francisco. And I'll be honest, they built that thing up to be a pretty big deal. I'm from Oregon. That's just called rain. It wasn't that big of a deal, man. And, whatever. Anyway, so the rain was a huge factor in play. It wasn't so bad you couldn't play. But it was enough that it did have an impact in some ways. But it was an ugly game. That's all there is to it. People want to try to build it up and make it something better than it was. Sorry. I mean, listen, I'm not a self-hating Colts fan so much that I would make up problems. But watching that game was nothing but ugly. It was just ugly and painful to watch. And you're right, Keon, the score of this game did not really represent reality if you take a moment. You know what the score of this game represented? Penalties. That's what it represented. every opportunity that the Colts took advantage of was a pass interference sort of deal where suddenly there they are on the 1 yard line and they're like, well, I guess Jonathan Taylor, or Carson Wentz, whatever the case, that's what it is. It wasn't like a great game, wasn't a big deal. And there's people on the text line that are cracking me up. Jagdog, Jeffrey, last night had a playoff feel to it. What?
I feel like they're trying to troll you here. There's no way that you watched that game and felt like, there's a playoff atmosphere to this horrid football game.
Keep in mind that Jagdog is one of those insufferable 40 whiner fans. He says, offensive explosion on both sides of the ball. My Niners will see you in the Super Bowl, my friend. Wait. No, maybe not. Well, it was a very hard to watch game, actually. So, sort of trolling. Schmitty says, that Sunday night game was awesome. Glad the Colts got the win. Watching male prostitutes rub down wet balls shows that the NFL is accepting of all people and lifestyles. Good Lord.
Wow.
There's nothing good to say about last night's game, is there? Other than my Colts got to win?
Yeah, your Colts got to win, so I'm happy for you there. But no. I guess the thing that I learned about Kyle Shanahan is he hates Jimmy Garoppolo, or not hates him. He just doesn't trust him. He just doesn't trust him at all. Like any time that they had to run the ball to pick up a big first down, anything, Kyle would rather do that than ever allow Jimmy Garoppolo to throw the football. And once it started raining, he trusted him even less.
You saw how many times Carson Wentz tried to give it to the defense of the 49ers. There were so many missed opportunities on the defensive side of the ball because my quarterback sucks. But it's also, it was a factor because of the rain. And so Kyle Shanahan was just playing it conservative. I don't think it was much of a, an indictment of Garoppolo's ability. I think he was just like already seeing the trouble that the Colts were having and said, we're just going to just run the damn ball. And I'm sure there's a few times where Carson got to take a shot downfield where Garoppolo's like, well, they're doing it. Oh, come on, can I do it? Oh, they're doing it. But it didn't matter. So it was funny because I think that Kyle Shanahan just doesn't like Jimmy Garoppolo, period. He was asked after the game, so what's going to happen is Trey Lance come back, or is it going to be Jimmy Garoppolo? And he goes, I guess so. I don't know. He's like, I'll watch this tape and see if, who's healthy and, figure out where they're at. And, it's all good for Jimmy to get healthy. And he played today. So I don't know. Didn't see a ton of bad decisions, but weren't enough good things either. So, I don't know. I'd guess I don't know. That's sad.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Shanahan looked all Unabomber on the sideline. He looked pissed the entire time. Like a wet cat standing on the patio. Let me in. That's all. I mean, at least Frank Reich, he looked like he was enjoying himself, and his glasses fogged up every now and then, but he didn't look like hateful. But Kyle Shanahan just looked like done.
He really did. It's funny because the same thing has happened, of course, with Sean McVay and Jared Goff, where you just see a coach just fall out of love so fast with his quarterback. Kyle and Jimmy are just not on the same page at all. Like there are games you'll see where Kyle just doesn't want to see Jimmy Garoppolo throw the football, and they'll just run a bunch of running plays in a row. And that's just how he's just done with him for the day. Didn't quite get to that point yesterday, but you could tell that he just didn't want to be there. He wanted to be anywhere else on earth than coaching Jimmy Garoppolo yesterday.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I'm sure he's also looking over at Trey Lance like, I've made a mistake. And so, I don't know, Kyle Shanahan, you might start to wonder, hot seat, maybe hot seat. We'll talk about that, I'm sure, later in the season. I think it's a little bit early for that now. Daylight Drew says, as much as you guys hate U of A, I don't care about them enough to hate them, Daylight Drew. I just don't like them. He says, they made me $500 on the 18-point spread Friday night. They stink, but bankable. Pour me a cold adult beverage of your choosing there, Keon. Congratulations to you, Daylight Drew, on the Hyundai. I feel like you should be pouring us a little something, to be honest, but nope, no problem. Keon's got you covered. Mr. Pringle says, I got Friday off, working late Thursday, but be home in time for the most anticipated NFL game of the season. Packers at Cardinals. Yes, there will be many cold ones. Then I'll crawl out of bed Friday morning and golf 18 rounds. Go Big Red. That's the nicest thing I've heard Pringle say so far. I can't disagree with anything that he typed in any of that. So cheers to you, Pringle. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. Still got a lot of text to catch up here on the text line. We will get back to all the other games that happened on Sunday. It's a Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic.
Kevin Harlan here from Monday Night Football on Westwood One with a preview of Week 7 as the New Orleans Saints take on the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle is coming off an overtime loss to the Steelers, but saw good play from their quarterback, Geno Smith, replacing the injured Russell Wilson. Now they host Jameis Winston and the New Orleans Saints, who are coming off the bye week. Running back Alvin Kamara says going into the off week with the win was a big plus.
You never want to lose a game going into a bye week. It kind of seems like you're not doing anything right when you lose and you got a break. But I mean, just going in that bye week, like some energy, like, we winners. The difference between 2 and 3 and 3 and 2 is huge.
Join Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner and me for all the action as the Saints take on the Seahawks on Monday Night Football.
Remember to listen to Westwood One's exclusive coverage of the NFL all season long, right here on 1580 The Fanatic, Arizona's new home for sports.
O'Reilly. When you shop O'Reilly Auto Parts, you'll get the parts you need when you need them. Shop O'ReillyAuto.com and choose same-day curbside, same-day pickup, or same-day delivery, powered by DoorDash. Now available at participating stores in your area. Trust the professional parts people to get you the parts you need today. Visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hey, frequent heartburn may keep you from running your A game, but it doesn't have to anymore. Join the Prilosec OTC 2-week challenge. Just go to prilosecotc.com. You'll get $3 off to get you started, plus 14 days of tips, tricks, and reminders. Just 2 weeks, zero heartburn. Go to prilosecotc.com and sign up today. Zero heartburn is possible with Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
Business people like it honest and to the point. So here it is. Take control of your utility expenses by calling Harmon Solar right now. They can save you up to 80% on that monthly electric bill. Level your energy costs and protect yourself from inflation. There, Bruce Jacobs telling you straight and to the point. Here's more. Harmon Solar is a local family-owned company that uses top-of-the-line equipment. Call Harmon Solar at 800-281-3189. That's 800-281-3189. Or go online to harmonsolar.com.
Providing you with the latest sports news, commentary, and analysis.
So I am holding out, much to the chagrin of my dad. Don't be greedy. My agent said, so here's the deal. We're all right with the signing bonus. We'll get a little more there. But what we're fighting for is the third year and $20,000 on the third year.
What did your father say?
When it was all said and done, good job.
Jacobs and Helly on Arizona's new home for sports. 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
It's David Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic, Arizona sports betting station. We got your NFL for you. Sunday Night Football is Cowboys at Vikings. Next Monday Night Football, it's the Giants and the Chiefs. Tonight's game, Saints and Seahawks. Fed fan says, my neighbor is a Chiefs fan, and he is not a happy camper. Yeah, I can't imagine why, and I can't figure out what has gone wrong with the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, remember we talked about this game last week, and we looked at this and said, wow, if the Chiefs can't handle their business against the Tennessee Titans, not that the Titans are a bad team, if they can't handle their business against them, then there's got to be something really wrong with them, right? Because it's been enough weeks. It's been enough time. And then later on Friday night, looking at my research, and I was kind of looking at the teams, I just got a feeling. I was like, that Derrick Henry. And I did. I changed my pick to the Tennessee Titans. Damn glad I did, because I got so many other ones wrong that it would have been even worse for me if I hadn't. But they broke Patrick Mahomes. I don't know when it happened, but what the hell's wrong in Kansas City, Keon?
I think well, I don't first off, I don't know about what's happened with Patrick Mahomes' head because he got hit really hard while he was falling. So that's
No, I mean in general. And they've said he's cleared. He doesn't have a concussion. He just got his bell rung a little bit. They did check him out, and I believe them. I don't think they're going to send their $500 million man back out there if he was less than ready, because so much rides on him. But there's so much wrong with the Kansas City Chiefs right now. You're right. You can't just say it's only Patrick Mahomes.
No, you really can't. There's so much about this team. The defense is atrocious. I think that's been obvious from week one, and it's just sort of carried over. But you do think that over a certain amount of time, teams that have been bad defensively have been able to figure something out a little bit. I mean, Washington's defense showed a pulse a little bit yesterday. We've seen the Titans defense that started off the season. The secondary wasn't good. They've started to put some things together. Like teams that are playing bad early defensively usually figure out a little bit how to get right. And it's strange that the Chiefs haven't been able to put that together. They haven't been able to figure out how to make their defense do anything well.
Well, this is not just the defense. I mean, the defense did give up 27 points, but the offense, poof, gone. They got a field goal. That's all they got. And Mahomes, he was 20 of 35, 206 yards. He fumbled a ball, which I'm not surprised. He had an interception, not surprised. He's under all sorts of pressure. And I guess what, do you just go straight to the offensive line and blame them? I thought they had brought in a better offensive line this year. It seems like they kind of did the opposite.
They went out of their way to pay a lot of money for that offensive line that is not performing well right now, not performing up to the standard. They got embarrassed in the Super Bowl. That was the reason why they made such a big deal about going out, beefing up the offensive line, and it's not really coming to fruition. There have been serious problems there. There have been some good spots too, but especially at the tackle spots, it's just been awful. And then Patrick, we've seen him do this in college, where if the team is just bad, he's just going to do more than he has to try and save the team. And I think that's working against him here too, where he's making throws and making decisions that he normally wouldn't make because he feels like I have to do more to carry this awful team.
How did they go from up here to down there so fast? The old saying, worst to first. Yay, us. Now it's like first to worst. The hell happened? This is a plummet. This isn't a slide. This is going off a cliff, basically, in the way a team goes from one year to the next. We saw some of the weaknesses last year, but this year, holy cow. Randy will tell you, because I've heard him say it before. I don't know that it can even be this simple, but maybe it can be. Everybody's figured out Patrick Mahomes. Everybody's figured out these Chiefs, and now they, no matter who they are ready for them. Is that simple?
I don't think it's that simple. That is part of it. And we talked about it a little bit earlier with the Suns, where you're just getting everybody's best punch week after week. At some point, when you're not playing well, that's just going to make it look like 2 times as bad. But I also think that there's something off about them being like on the same page, where Patrick Mahomes, we know how good of an improviser he is. He just finds a way to make something happen out of nothing. But, Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill seem to be surprised by passes from him that they never used to be surprised by. And it's tipped passes now, and those are causing a lot of interceptions and incompletions that they used to rely on to come back in games where they were behind and all of that stuff. I don't know if it's any one thing. There's about 4 or 5 things in Kansas City going wrong at the same time.
Yeah, I remember when the Chiefs were doing great, and then they win a Super Bowl, and then they lose a Super Bowl. With the Chiefs were doing great. Even when they lost, you're like, this is going to be a dynasty. This is going to be kind of like the Patriots. Andy Reid is Belichick. Mahomes is Brady. But this year, I don't remember there being a year like that for Brady and Belichick, where they were great and they were like, okay. And then they're like, I don't remember that. There was at least a certain level of consistency. So it's saddening because, we loved watching them play. And now it's like,
I will say a difference with Belichick and Brady and the Patriots is that Bill's a defensive guy. So like the offensively, they didn't really offensively, if they ever dipped, the defense was there to sort of have their back a little bit.
There's a lot of years the Patriots defense was hot garbage though, Keon.
There was, but I'm like, I don't know, a year that stands out to me is the Matt Castle year where they started him and they still made the playoffs. I think they won 14 games that year.
When Brady was it Brady's
he tore his ACL.
Right, his injury year, not his Deflategate year.
Yeah, the injury year. So they were able to kind of have that stability there. The Chiefs are so bad defensively and quite frankly so bad running the football. They can't make the same amount of mistakes. Their margin for error is smaller than it used to be. And it's not like they were playing mistake-free football in the first place. It's just now the margin for error is so small, they can miss it more easily, and they are all the time. Every week, it seems like.
Yeah. Thunder Santa Barbarian says the Chiefs have looked bad against multiple teams of different levels. It's not just like they had a bad game. They never have several bad games. But hey, good news for my Broncos. We've now caught up with the Chiefs. Oh, yeah. Oh, you guys are like a horse with its hair on fire, just galloping straight through. Yeah. Fear those Broncos.
Isn't it more that the Chiefs fell back to where the Broncos were and not the Broncos caught up? I wouldn't say caught up is the right phraseology there.
Temper those expectations, Thundar. Blissel Hayes says, hopefully BU has to quarantine 10 weeks. That'd be great. It's the only chance the Bears have to win. Bears only care about making money, though. Terrible organization. Then he goes, go Bears.
That's the thing. Is like, if that's your team, then that's your team. It's like Washington's awful. It's just institutionally bad, but go football team.
I don't know who you're quoting, but he says, is it true Matt Nagy injected himself with COVID-19 to avoid humiliating post-game press conferences and going to the office this morning to get fired? Maybe.
They can't fire me if I've got the vid.
Some politician or radio show host says he got it on purpose for whatever weird reason. So you never know, man. 602 Pats fan says we didn't make the playoffs that year and we went 11-5 that year, but we didn't win the division that year either. Boomer Sooner says,
that's right.
You guys, that is a problem with Mahomes. He's not allowed to stay in the pocket, step up and use his body the right way to throw the ball. And he's having to run around. He thinks he has to make something happen every single play. So he's doing way too much instead of just managing the game and driving that ball down the field.
Yeah, and that's the kind of player he's always been. There's a reason why Patrick Mahomes got drafted where he got drafted. I think 14th, 15th in the draft, he fell because people thought that he wasn't good. He wasn't accurate because he was at Texas Tech, and Texas Tech was so bad. If he didn't put up 50 points a week, they weren't going to compete, much less win games. And I think that that's always been part of his personality is once he sees that, he's got to carry the slack, I think he tries way too hard.
Outside of being happy about the Boomer Sooners rough time with Kansas and being happy they even got away with the win, Boomer Sooner wants you to know the Magic 8 Ball got 3 games right. He said it's 3 for 3. He says, I asked Mr. 8 Ball if Cincinnati would beat Baltimore. It said absolutely.
Wow.
I asked Mr. 8 Ball if Green Bay would beat Washington, and it said without a doubt. I asked Atlanta if it would beat Miami, and it said destined to happen. So there you go, 3 for 3 on the Magic 8 Ball. That's impressive, Boomer Sooner. That is impressive. He's probably like, I'm not giving this thing up.
Yeah, you might keep it. I mean, if the Magic 8 Ball is going to be that accurate, you might actually just have a treasure.
No doubt. Boomer Sooner, way to go, man. Let's see. Faded Hero Icon goes, wait, who? What? Who's got an 8 Ball? It's a Magic 8 Ball. It's not what you think it is. Fundar and Sam Barbarian says, hey, Keon, let us Bronco fans take our wins and precious few places we can find them, huh? And Jeffrey, enjoy Carson Wentz as your quarterback the next 5 years.
Well, first,
no.
Washington plays Denver this year. There's a precious win that you can have later in the season.
Congratulations, Thundar. It's a lock. Blissel Hayes says maybe Mahomes needs a raise. Yes, more money. That'll do it. Beer Bob says, how about my Patriots putting up a 54 spot? Yeah, against the Jets. That just, you got talk about being a bully. That was just Belichick taking out some frustrations on some poor hapless children. That is the sad thing. When I saw that score, and I was like, come on, Bill. Come on.
You're better than this, Bill. Well, maybe you're not.
54? Come on.
I was going to say maybe Bill's better than this, but actually, now that I think about it, no, he's not.
No, but all right. If you're a Patriot fan, then that was a good day for you. Rough Rob says, boss baby Kyler Murray getting it done on the field Sunday. Gotta love it. That's actually the first time I've heard that one. Boss baby.
Randy's not going to like it, but that's funny.
All right, just do them today. Don't do them tomorrow. I won't read them tomorrow. Last Optimist says there were more Packer fans in the stadium than Houston fans. Packer fans were all thoroughly inebriated, which I attribute to as why they were at the stadium 5 days early. You actually saw Packer jerseys this Sunday? Wow.
Okay.
I thought it was funny that somebody went to the Rams game in LA wearing a Detroit Lions Matthew Stafford jersey. And he saw it. He's like, hey, that's pretty cool. I'm sure Jared Goff is just like, I hate these guys. I hate everybody. I hate everybody. Mars 805 says, happy Monday, guys. And how was your weekend? 805 and go Raiders. Not bad. Not bad. It was a good Sunday up until Sunday night. Then the kids weren't here yesterday, so I was able to F-bomb at will, and I did a lot. Probably startled the mother-in-law a bit, but
probably.
Yes, it was. I'm not very emotive, and you know, I don't exhibit a lot watching a game, happy or sad. But yesterday, I think I shouted the F word. that little weird half pitch pass that he did. Oh my God. And that was bad. And then all those throws he threw, it's like, why are you doing this? And then, you know, luckily nothing bad happened. I don't want to talk about this. Let's move on. Fish Tank says everybody thought to bet the under because of the rain in the Colts game, but it still ended up being about 7 points over. Yeah, well, luck, I guess. Mr. Wilbur says the weather at the game last night was some sort of cyclonic blizzard or something. That only made me hungry for an Oreo blizzard. Me too, Wilbur. Moist One says, I'm in East Mesa and the station keeps cutting out, so I'm getting half sports, half Bible lessons. Well, you need a better radio.
You got to use the app then.
King of Kitten says, hey, Keon, Geno Smith or Jameis Winston? Saints at Seahawks, plus 5.5. The line has moved 1.5 points in the last 2 hours. Who do you got?
Because I've seen Jameis actually play good games this year, I'm going to go Jameis. I'm also mad at Geno because Geno looks like a decent quarterback. He has no connection with Tyler Lockett at all. And that's hurting me specifically in fantasy, and I'm mad about it. But no, I've seen Jameis Winston with my own eyes this year look like a good actual NFL quarterback. So I'm going to go Jameis.
Yeah. You've not seen Geno Smith has never been more than a backup quarterback. That's it.
Yeah,
and
that's what
you're getting.
Like.
He's not a good quarterback, and he won't be tonight. So it can't get in case you care. I also would take Jameis Winston. In fact, I am tonight in my fantasy football. May God have mercy on my soul. Bruno Baller says the Packer fans they see at the Texans games might be snowbirds from Wisconsin, you know, here for the winter. Oh, man, traffic must have been so slow leaving that stadium last night because of those bastards. Keon, you're new around here. Let me explain a little something to you about how the snowbirds work. They come from other places because, you know, in the winter because it's frozen and snowy there. So they come here. Then when it gets hot, they go back. And just to give you an idea of how annoying they are on the road, in Mesa, there's a stretch of road called the Apache Highway or Main Street. Now, that street, as it goes through Mesa on the way to Apache Junction, don't ever go there. A lot of racist, a lot of meth. Don't go there. Anyway, but on that stretch of road, they had to, in places, increase the speed to 55 miles an hour to get these old bleepers to go 30. And if you think I'm joking, ask around, because I'm not.
Wow. Okay.
They widen it 3 lanes just so you could try to get around all the people from Wisconsin, Minnesota, and all those other places that are just sitting there and like, on Luby's, it's gonna close soon. Drive slower, Henry. Oh my God, it's horrible. I'm not even making this up. Anybody who's lived here any amount of time knows what I'm saying is 100% correct. Anyway,
I will ask around, but more for the humor of it. I just want to hear what people have to say.
stay off of Maine/Apache. Just stay off of that part in the East Valley.
Good
Dear
to know.
God. Beer Bob says, hey, the Jets beat the Titans a few weeks ago. Yeah, I know. That's got to be even weirder for the Chiefs to have to deal with. Schmitty says, is anyone else worried that the Cardinals are employing an autistic individual as quarterback? What are you talking about? Oh my God, I can't read the rest of that. You're just being a bastard. Oh my God. Schmitty, shame on you. I can't read that. Fish Tank says, since I'm concerned you might have to bring up my terrible Dolphins soon. I am soon. He says, I'd like to remind you, the Braves are going to the World Series. Hooray. Yeah, I'm 34. It seems like a great time for midlife crisis. Bucket list decision. I've got my flight. I got my hotel booked and tickets going sale tomorrow. I'm going to Game 4 in Atlanta. Go Braves. Good for you, Fish Tank.
Yeah, good for you, Fish Tank. Truist Park is nice.
Be sure and report in on your experience as you go. That's awesome. Good for you. That is awesome. I've never done that where something has happened where I'm like, book the tickets. I'm going. You know what I mean? Get my plane, get my hotel, get my tickets to the game. I'm going. I'm very jealous.
Yeah, I would have loved to.
Yeah. We're also looking for invitations. I'm just saying. All right. We come back. More of yesterday's NFL fun. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic.
This is Brent Musburger's action update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Simple Green is perfect for making your auto, RV, cycling, boating, and other sporting equipment look like new. SimpleGreen.com.
Odds are out for next weekend's Pac-12 slate for Arizona State. After an off week, they will play host to Washington State next Saturday afternoon. Arizona State opens as a very heavy favorites. They are favored by 15. The over-under is sitting at 52. Arizona still looking for that first win of the season. They are 0-7 as they travel to USC next Saturday night. As you would expect, the Trojans are the heavy favorites in this one. USC favored by 21, the over-under sitting at 56.5. For the latest odds all the time, visit vsin.com. I'm Matt Pauley on Arizona's sports betting station, 1580 The Fanatic.
DQ presents. Picture this. Picture yourself at DQ on Thursday, October 28th for Miracle Treat Day. You roll up to order a Blizzard with your friends and family like you have so many times before. But on this day, every flavor comes with a much-needed dose of hope. For every Blizzard you buy at participating locations, $1 or more will be donated to your local Children's Miracle Network hospital, making Miracle Treat Day the most satisfying way to give hope to kids in your community. Thursday, October 28th at DQ.
Chances are the technology you work with every day is an afterthought until it isn't working. Technical problems can throw a wrench in your day, but computer security issues can expose you and your customers to serious risk. Affinity Technology builds custom IT solutions that help small businesses thrive. No system is too complicated. If it plugs in, we work with it. Affinity Technology runs Arizona businesses. Contact us today at atechaz.com. That's atechaz.com. Affinity Technology.
This is Aaron Warby, host of the Bulls and the Bears Radio Hour. In the show, we try to teach the tools, rules, and strategies that traders and investors need to do better with their wealth and portfolio income. But most of the time, an hour is just not long enough. At Online Trading Academy, we believe that the average person should be given the tools, rules, and strategies that Wall Street's elites have been using for years to outperform others. Are you one of the millions that have recently established a trading account? Or have you always wanted to trade or take a more active role in guarding and growing your own wealth, but have not had the know-how or confidence? We want to invite you out to a complimentary 3-hour power trading and investing workshop, where you'll learn what it is that the professionals use to limit their risks and maximize their possible gains in both trading and investing. To register, call 8448-TRADER. That's 844-887-2337, or text the word stocks to 25029. Again, that's stocks to 25029. Reserve your seat now.
Seems like everything is going electric these days. Electric cars, electric trucks. But what you save on gas, you pay for with your electric bill. And with all these things plugged into your house, Wouldn't it be nice to save up to 85% on your monthly bill? Well, you got to call Harmon Solar. Harmon Solar is a family-owned, woman-owned local company that uses top-of-the-line equipment. Call Harmon Solar, 800-281-3189. That's 800-281-3189. Or go to harmonsolar.com.
Distracted driving kills in Arizona. Life is more important than your phone's beep. Stop the distracted driving, Arizona, please. Sponsored by the Arizona Chapter National Safety Council and the Governor's Office of Highway Safety, aired in cooperation with the Arizona Broadcasters Association and this station.
1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Arizona's new home for sports.
Today's Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic. Somebody referring to Kyler Murray as Boss Baby. It cracked me up, but Moislin, he says, be careful. He says, be careful. If you say Boss Baby 3 times in a row, Alec Baldwin shows up behind you with a loaded prop gun. Oh, my God. See, Schmitty, I can read that one, just not yours. I can't even repeat what Schmitty had said. He goes, well, at least it wasn't a short joke. You know, thinking out of the box there. 888-368-1580. And Ookla's mad at me. Ookla the Mock says, screw you and your Colts radio, pal. Their 12 points on defense made me lose by 1.5 points yesterday in fantasy. Yeah, so what? Boomer Sooner says, yeah, Jeffrey, I'm up here in Anthem, and there is a crap load of them snowbirds. They show up for 6 months or so. We have a nice little community up here. Then, bam! All of a sudden, slow drivers everywhere. Yeah, I want. If I'm ever made emperor, the rules are going to be anybody who is, say, of a certain age. No, not even that. We have a lot of older people who live here year round, and they're badasses. Okay, anybody from different, if you got like a different state license plate, you're only allowed to drive in the middle of the night. And you need to sleep during the day and go out in the middle of the night, because then you've got old people driving and drunk drivers driving, and they drive similarly. So they'll be safe. They won't bump into each other. See? Genius. Because the drunk drivers and the old folks drive kind of the same.
That is thinking outside of the box, quite frankly. And
That's
think
me keeping you safe.
because the blender cares.
That's right. Well, no, Jeffrey O'Brien is your emperor. Get it straight.
That's true.
If I become emperor, if you're lucky, I'll give you some sort of position, Keon. Don't think it's an automatic thing. Okay.
All right. I just assumed we were friends. Naturally.
Randy is the grill master general. You've got to find your place. I don't know what you got to. You have to ask me for something, because as the emperor, it'll be only up to me to bestow the honor upon you of holding some office or position in my emperorship.
That makes sense. That does make sense. All right.
So what do you have to add to my empire?
That is a great question.
You want me to just give you a freebie and you don't have any ideas or aspirations or ambitions?
I mean, I have, aspirations and ambitions, or I've got plenty of hobbies, but it's like, I like watching movies. I don't know if I can add watching movies to an empire. Like, that's not particularly helpful,
Well, yeah, actually, no. You know how like the emperor has people eat some of their food to make sure there ain't no poison? It'll be up to you to watch all movies and then give recommendations to prevent me from ever being poisoned by a bad movie experience.
Okay, there you go. You're the movie taste tester.
Exactly. And so what you would do then is you'd also get access to my Netflix, my Amazon, all those things. You could kind of see what I've liked and not liked to give you some background. To be fair, I don't want to set you up for success. But granted, if I watch a really bad movie, you're going to get executed.
That's, might be worth the risk, though.
Well, honestly, yes, because all of the perks of living in the palace and the food and all the other trimmings of such things you will enjoy. You just have to make sure I never see a movie as bad as Chappie or as bad as Coming to America 2 ever again.
Which I can definitely, if that's because those movies are obviously bad. So if I can avoid showing you that, then clearly I think I can do this job.
Yeah. All right. Well, then that's yours. All right. You're the official movie critic of my empire. Well done. Kiss the Cook says, as I was sending my text, he texted a moment ago, I live by Sun City. They're 10 cents a dozen here. Oh, God, Lord, help me with these snowbirds. And he says, I was sending my text. A snowbird ran a red light, turned left in front of me from a right turn lane, and then flipped me off. Well, it's because you were texting. I'm hoping you were at a dead stop texting. And ladies and gentlemen, let me just remind you, in case we haven't done that enough lately, please, for the love of God, do not text and drive. Period. Don't just wait till, even if you're at a stop, please don't do that because you might get distracted there too.
And you could get a ticket as well.
It's another thing. Yeah. They could see you sitting there. Boom, ticket, like $400 ticket, I think.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what it is, but I've been hearing the public service announcements about how you can get tickets for that. So just don't.
See, Big Stanky 87 says, Jeffrey, are you giving out tickets to Cardinals Packers? No. Even if I had some, no. That'd be probably the one game this year where you're like, no, we're keeping them. We're going to use them ourselves. He says, hey, if you were emperor, how often would Bruce Jacobs complain about you? Oh, I don't know. Hopefully all the time. I don't care. I'll probably give him some position inside the emperorship to keep him busy and occupied and harmless. Bob Swirsky says, whenever I get the aspirations, I use some of that Gold Bond medicated powder. It dries me right up. Okay, that's not what we're talking about. All right. Schmitty's like, wait a second, hold on. You can joke and laugh about somebody getting shot, but I can't read what you're saying, Schmitty. Oh, brother. Moist One says, I needed that Colts defense in my matchup. Fighting Wampa says, so I'm up 0.40 points in my fantasy football league going into tonight's game with only Lockett left to play. My opponent has no players left. I benched Lockett, which ensures my win 100%. My opponent thinks it's dirty pool to just bench my player and not let it play out. My thought is, by some horrible luck, he gets a pitch, fumbles the ball, gets hurt during the play, he's out of the game, then I lose. I know it's a long shot, but right now I have the sure win. What do you guys think? Think it's the right thing? Think you're doing the right thing, Wampa? And whoever this Weasley whiner is out there who's complaining about you doing that, you play to win the game, says Herm Edwards. And yeah, it's not going to help your your point total. It could have an effect on your standing later. It's between you and another team and they got more points for. But outside of that, just to make sure you get the W, hell yeah. I agree with it completely, Keon.
Yeah, it's like kneeling out the clock. I mean, that's not dirty. That's perfectly fair. To avoid the risk of running a play that involves a fumble or an interception, you just take a knee.
I've figured out what Bruce Jacobs would do for my emperorship.
Oh, what's that?
I'd have him rage against all the other countries. I would just make him the Secretary of Defense. No. He'd have access to missiles. I want to make him the Secretary. I don't want to call him Secretary because that's not right. He's going to be my personal envoy to yell at all the other countries.
Well, yeah, like an ambassador.
Yeah,
like an angry ambassador.
Yeah, and he can all his conspiracy theories, everything he wants to rage against, he can just do that, and then he'll be out of the country. And eventually somebody's going to go, "This is Sparta," and he might get kicked. I don't know. I think he's pretty wily. I think he could avoid the Sparta kick if it came down to it.
Yeah, no, I think Bruce Jacobs is he's got a little bit more spryness than you think.
Yeah. That dude got kicked into the pit by the Sparta guy. Well, he just sat there and took it. Bruce would be like, "Oh, hell no." I think he'd be fine. I'm willing to risk his life to find out. 888-368-1580. Blissful Hayes says, who the hell's Bruce Jacobs? Spare Square says, if it's snowbird season, can we shoot them? No, Spare Square, we can't. That's what we call murder. And I need you to still be in this listening audience because we need the ratings. So I do not condone the shooting of snowbirds. We've all wanted to, but you just don't. Papa Mike says, careful, Jeffrey. I'll be one of those old snowbirds next year. Yeah, but you see, listen, I've seen you drive. You and I left the Cardinal Stadium together in that badass, I won't say what it is, that vehicle of yours. And, you know, you're a perfectly good driver. Just don't change the way you drive just because you're going somewhere else to be a snowbird. And you get to be the exception of the rule, Papa Mike. Until you drive like crap, then you're going to get lumped in with the rest of them. Bruno Baller says, is there some irony when they took the All-Star game away from Atlanta? Now they have to show the Braves in the World Series. Didn't they make good on whatever it was in Atlanta that was bothering Major League Baseball? I don't know where that is.
I actually don't know if they did make good on it because it was a lot of the voter laws just got very, very restrictive there. And Major League Baseball made the decision at that point that, you know, that's not exactly what we're going to stand for. We're going to move the All-Star game.
Yeah, being against racism and racially motivated laws that prevent voting, I think that is a perfectly fine hill to die on if you're gonna. I don't know that they handled the entire situation correctly, but I think their spirit was right. But now you're looking at, a team in a World Series. It's a completely different thing, Bruno Baller. 888-368-1580. Oh, Against the Spread says, breaking news, Justin Fields has been placed on IR for insomnia. I guess he can't sleep because he thinks the defensive line from Tampa Bay is still hiding in his closet waiting to sack him. That's a funny text Against the Spread.
That's funny.
All right, guys, we only have a half hour left to finish up talking about yesterday's game. Come on back, kids. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic.
Bruce Jacobs here to tell you there is no doubt that Harman Solar can save you up to 85% on your monthly electric bill. That's a fact. But did you know it's possible to get solar for $0 down? You can lease, finance, or even purchase outright. They have plans that fit everybody. Harman Solar is a family-owned, woman-owned local company that uses top-of-the-line equipment. Call Harman Solar at 800-281-3189. That's 800-281-3189. Or go online to harmansolar.com.
If you're age 62 or older and own a home, this message is for you. Reverse Rob here, Money Radio's expert on reverse mortgages. Learn how to tap the equity in your home and increase the quality of your life by earning tax-free income while protecting your other retirement assets. Join us for our free Second Saturdays webinar every month to learn more. This is not too good to be true. All you need to do is reverse your thinking. Call me today, Reverse Rob, to learn more at 602-REVERSE. That's 602-738-3773, or download my app by searching Retire Right with Reverse Rob.
Hey guys, Jeffrey O'Brien here. Listen, when we're all working on our shows here at The Fanatic, we're totally focused and we don't want to worry about the other things. You know, like the technology that runs our station. That's where Affinity Technology comes in. They run all our IT so we can focus on what really matters, our business and our listeners. These guys handle literally everything. If it plugs in, they work with it. They've saved us tons of money and have kept us focused on what really matters. Affinity Technology, they can do the same for you. Go to atechaz.com. Be sure and tell them I sent you.
In the Army National Guard, family means everything.
Our parents, they were really supportive that all 5 of us would join. I got my education because of the Guard. I got to travel a little bit and experience a whole different culture. It helped me get my job, it helped me pay for my house.
Serving part-time in the Army National Guard instills pride that you and your family will share. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more about part-time service. Sponsored by the Arizona Army National Guard. Aired by the Arizona Broadcasters Association and this station.
Learn how thousands of smart homeowners are investing about $1 to avoid expensive home repair bills. John, a former non-customer, said, "My air conditioner broke and I had to spend $1,900 to fix it." Jeff, a customer, wrote, "My air conditioner broke and I got a new one at no out-of-pocket cost." Mary, a former non-customer, wrote, "My heating system stopped running. I had to spend $3,000 to get a new one." Lisa, a customer, wrote, "My heater stopped working. I got it fixed at no out-of-pocket cost." For about $1 a day, you can have all the major appliances and systems in your home guaranteed fixed or replaced with HSC's home warranty coverage. Call now, and the first month is free. If the lines are busy, please call back.
800-657-5714. 800-657-5714. 800-657-5714. That's 800-657-5714.
KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting on K25CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM. And K240U Fountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
All right, people, settle down because it's time
for what? Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it.
All right, everybody, it's 4 o'clock here on the Daily Blender. And good friend, the radio pal, Jeffrey O'Brien, not alongside Randy White. He'll be back from vacation tomorrow. Got Keon Rose pushing the buttons, and you guys are on the Fanatic text line, 888-368-1580, as we broadcast live in the Harmon Solar Studios in Scottsdale. And it's a good point, Thundar, the Santa Barbarian. He texts in and says, when is Ukulamak not mad at you about something, Jeffrey? You know, there was a time where he wasn't feeling good. And I was nice to him, and he was nice to me, but he quickly got over it, and he's back to being mad at me all the time again, which is, I think, the way it should be. And he says, also, Keon, you may want to think very carefully about recommending any movie in which Alec Baldwin handles a gun. Okay, now, hold on. That is just not right. By the way, I just feel horrible for him. He's got to live with that and all the legal stuff that's going to follow because he's listed as a producer on that movie. He wasn't a okay, a lot of people don't know this. When an actor is listed as a producer on something, it doesn't mean he had anything to do with being in charge. It's like an honorary thing, you know? It's like an honorary thing. And so, he might not have had anything to do with any of that nonsense down there. So, but boy, can you imagine having to live with that? That's,
yeah, that stinks. That really does.
Would not want to be him. And it was a tragic thing. Scratch Me Because says the Bears offensive line is so bad. What is the point of playing Justin Fields? Do you have someone else? Seriously,
that's
do you have
question.
Anybody else?
Who's
the backup down for Justin Fields?
Oh man,
I don't even know. Do you know? Somebody's got to know.
I'll know here in a second.
Miss Pringle says, Keon, what about one-loss Alabama jumping over undefeated Sooners after both teams win last Saturday? And by the way, okay, what about that? So we got the standings, I guess.
Yeah, well, with Alabama, they jump over the Sooners because of, and this is the AP again. This is not the College Football Playoff Committee. I'm interested where they're going to have Alabama and Oklahoma relatively, but they're going to say, with the big SEC scheduling bias, Alabama plays a tougher schedule than has Oklahoma. Oklahoma has struggled more against worse teams. However, they're undefeated, and that ought to mean something. If you ask me, that ought to mean something, especially since they have found ways to win in a variety of different ways.
Moist One says, dude, play Lockett. Beat that guy by 20 points. Yeah, who was it that was saying that it's Fighting Wampa. Fighting Wampa, he's probably right, but you are right in take a knee. You need to take a knee. Schmitty.
If Gino had any particular connection with Lockett, then maybe you go ahead and play him and see how many points you can get. But I have been starting Tyler Lockett every week, and ever since Gino's been the quarterback, it's been nothing.
Yeah. Schmitty says, in your empire, can I be your musician, singer, dog groomer, comedian, handyman, life coach, spiritual mentor? I've done many things. # I conquer life. No, Schmitty, I think you're the kind of guy who would, pull a little Ides of March on old Caesar here. So no, you do. I mean, I can probably appoint you something fun outside of the palace, but I don't know that I'm going to allow you inside the palace. You know what I'm saying? Nothing personal. It's just, and I don't think comedian is going to work. But some of those other things, maybe we'll talk.
By the way, back up to Justin Fields is Nick Foles, which we should have known, but we forgot he existed.
Yeah, well, Nick Foles is fragile. You don't want to put him in either. So let the young kid go in. He's made out of rubber, right? Beer Bob says, we were at the game yesterday and we were amazed how many empty seats there were. That's what I said to my wife. I was watching, I'm like, honey, there's a lot of empty seats there. She's like, well, maybe they were getting something to eat. I'm like, all of them?
The whole game?
She's like, I know they played the hapless Texans, but the Cardinals are undefeated. Plus, tickets were cheap. Why isn't the Valley getting behind them?
Now, is it a thing where you have to decide because you got the Packers game coming up and you've got the Texans game
Could
4
be.
days apart? And if you had to choose which game to go to, you'd rather go to the Packers game because that's going to be the better game.
Obviously. So who knows, Beer Bob? I don't know that the Valley is not behind the Cardinals. I wouldn't get that sense at all. Last Optimist says, so they took away the All-Star game for laws that were less restrictive than Colorado. Guys, I don't want to get into the politics of this. He says, where they moved the All-Star game to. Then the All-Star game went from majority black community to majority white community with stricter voting laws. Okay, what did I say earlier? The thought was correct. What they did, the way they went about it was not. So I don't want to get bogged down in this. Major League Baseball they did a good thing bad. Can we all just agree to that?
Yeah.
They had the right intention. They overreacted and they did a good thing bad. They ended up hurting a lot of black owned businesses in Atlanta with that. And I don't think they meant to. I think they were just trying to move swiftly and do the right thing, but they didn't think it all the way through. So
which is typical of a Rob Manfred administration of Major League Baseball.
That's the other thing. He drinks a lot.
So there's that. But I mean, it's the thing is, and the reason why we kind of stick away from the politics of it is because it is more complicated than that. Like the Braves themselves moved to Truist Park, which moved away from the black fans of the Atlanta Braves. So there's a whole complicated thing, and you could keep digging and digging and digging forever, and we'll never actually be able to sort it out properly. But Major League Baseball was trying to do the right thing. I do agree with you. Their heart was in the right place.
Last Optimist says, I'd have to say the Cardinal Stadium capacity, I'm concerned this year. It's less packed than it's been any other year I've been attending games. Well, first off, we just came back from COVID, so people might be a little slower to return because of that. And boy, my best seat in the house is my couch. I enjoy watching it on the TV. So I don't know, man. I don't think it's anything really to worry about. I think you're going to see what's what. And hopefully, I really hope there's not more Packers people than Cardinals peoples this coming Thursday. Jagdog says, thank you, Jeffrey's Colts and Keon's Washington Turncoats. He sent me a bunch of betting slips, so I guess that means he won. I can't read. I can't. It's kind of small on my screen, Jagdog. You sending me your betting slips. All I can do is say, good for you, buddy. I don't know what I'm looking at. So you got to kind of explain it. But
and don't thank me. Thank the Packers. They actually won for you. I losing is not. Don't thank me for losing. Please don't. You'll hurt my feelings.
You can thank me for winning, though. Boomer Sooner says, yeah, Jeffrey, I'm up 144-67. My opponent has Metcalf for Seattle tonight, and I think that's all I've got this one wrapped up. So congratulations to you on that, I'd say. So there's not really any chance in hell he'll get 80 points. He says, by the way, I asked the mighty 8-ball if New Orleans would beat Seattle tonight, and it says yes.
The 8-ball's pretty smart.
Yeah, that's what I picked too. Of course, watch tomorrow. We're gonna be like, just like we were Friday. I didn't see that coming.
which has been the story of this entire weekend, really.
Yeah, dude. I wonder what the hell that was all about. Kiss the Cook says, let me see. Draw for pronghorn elk, turkey, javelina, bear. Nope. No, I don't see anything on here. No license or regs for snowbirds. Damn it. By the way, I actually talked to somebody who has eaten javelina, and I guess it's not all that bad. I was always told it was like completely not good. So much to my surprise. Flying Monkey says, yeah, even if we were drawn for snowbirds and we have tags, so I guess that's not a real thing. No, it's not a real thing, Flying Monkeys. Blissful Hayes says, for the Bears, yeah, third string is Nick Foles. Dalton is actually the proper backup.
Yeah, I just thought he was still injured. That's the reason why I said
right. So then I guess it does go to Foles. Unnamed texter says Rex Grossman lost me a week after certain Monday night meltdown. Bench that guy. Win your week. Oh, what he's saying is unnamed texter is saying, yeah, don't risk it. Bench Lockett and assure your win if you've already got it. Last Optimist says, I would have to say about the Cardinal Stadium. Oh, I regret that one. Against the spread. I really don't want to. I don't want to go down this road, but Alex Baldwin successfully operated a pistol in Hunt for Red October without shooting any nuclear missiles. But now he can't be trusted. I'd rather go hunting with Dick Cheney. Okay. I don't want to. I'm not going to read any more of these. Big Stanky 87 says, I won a $65 off a $1 parlay yesterday. Hey, good for you, man.
That's cool.
I still haven't picked a betting app yet. I'm still shopping, still kind of looking at it. I'm definitely going to do it. I am going to definitely do it. I just don't know which one yet. Scratch Me Because says Texas MVP yesterday, punter Cameron Johnson. Yeah, that is as sad as the Bears offensive line right there. Baby Got Dak says, I was slightly worried to take the Cardinals on Thursday, but now the Packers have the COVID. Boy, this ought to be an easy win. Yeah, with Aaron Rodgers on the field, I'd never want to say easy win, but bad back, COVID, Devontae Adams, if he's out, that's going to make it a lot harder. So Fed Fan says, hey, I'm still director of sports. Nobody gets that position in Jeffrey's dictatorship. Got it? Well, because there's two things on this, Keon. I don't remember promising her that, but if she says so, I agree because I'm afraid of her. So yes, Fed Fan will be director of sports.
And if you're afraid of her, then I'm not going to say anything either.
Javelina says, I'm sorry, Javelina. Tiger Paws says Javelina equals chorizo. Yeah, I guess that makes sense, because there's not a whole lot more I think you can make out of that. Let's see. Tiger Paws says they're actually giving away $50 gift certificates to the food courts because so few of them are open, and wait times to get a single drink is like 45 minutes. Last game was the first time they even had the beer guys going around the stadium. Before that, there was nothing. On the Packers, there's a ton of Wisconsin people that live here year round, and those they come in since can't get seats at their own stadium because tickets are so rare. They're actually left in wills. Yeah, I know about that. It's crazy trying to get to Lambeau. So thank you for that, Tiger Paws. Schmitty says, I've eaten deer, which is really good. I've also eaten, I can't read that. Okay, moving on.
Was it at least funny?
Yeah.
Okay.
Big Stanky 87 says, download all the apps and play around with them. Yeah, but then I don't have a bunch of money spread around in different areas. It's kind of weird. Thundar says, Magic 8 Ball says, Seattle beats New Orleans tonight. Oh, I don't know. Last time I changed my pick because of something I heard in the blender, I chose my Broncos over the Browns and I lost. Not sure if I should switch. Then don't. Random Texter says, can somebody please tell me what is up with my Kansas City Chiefs besides everything? We talked about that in the last hour, and your offensive line is, not what you paid for. It's garbage. Yeah. I think that is number one. Number two, you don't have a very good defense. And those two things together mean that you're going to have a concussed Patrick Mahomes running around and everybody's saying, well, Patrick Mahomes isn't as good as he used to be. When really, I don't know if the blame should be put on him.
Patrick Mahomes is like the fourth thing wrong with this team out of like five major issues.
I gave you two. What's the third?
I think they can't run the football. They were struggling a little bit with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but he did find a little bit of a groove. Then he got hurt. It's not working out with Damian Williams right now with them trying to run the ball with him. And then you've got the receivers. Like I just think that this is like the worst Travis Kelce year I've seen since he's been in the league.
Yeah, he's been non-existent. I never even hear his name anymore.
It's not like he's not getting targeted. There's just drops. There's just route miscommunication stuff. So yeah, I would put Mahomes a little bit lower down on the list of things wrong with this team because I don't know what else he's supposed to do.
Do you think Matthew Stafford was happy to beat the Lions, or do you think Matthew Stafford felt bad? Like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. I mean, it was close enough game, 28-19. At least it wasn't a humiliation like a bunch of these other games. But, poor Jared Goff, just poor guy. But do you think Matthew Stafford laid off? Do you think that they just felt bad? I mean, I don't know. Am I putting too much into this? Because, yeah, Matthew Stafford is living the life that Goff hoped he would have.
I do think that Matthew Stafford did not go after the Lions as hard as he could have gone after the Lions. And that is, I don't think he hates that organization, or at least I don't think he hates that city. Lions fans are obviously incredibly passionate, and they're a fan base that really gets behind their players, and they know that a lot of the players that have had to walk away and move on from them, it's not quitting. The organization just never helped those guys out. And so I don't think that Matthew Stafford wanted to pummel the Lions.
Yeah, I just feel bad. I feel bad now. I mean, Jared Goff is a dumbass, and he's never been that great of a player. But he was I don't know. Maybe the fact that he's a dumbass. I mean, I'm not saying like I think he's actually kind of stupid. This is the guy who wasn't sure which side of the sky the sun came up in. Remember that back when he was on, I don't know, it was Hard Knocks or the other show, whatever.
Yeah, I think it was Hard Knocks.
Yeah, I mean, this is a guy who made Cooper Kupp look like a damn genius, just sitting next to him. But I felt bad for him. I guess I should get over that because it won't be long before we don't have to talk about him anymore. And he's made a few $million, so he'll be all right. But Matthew Stafford finally showing everybody what he could have done had the Lions been better at A, drafting, B, general managing, and C, everything else. So, that one on the 6-1, the Rams are 6-1. That one is the Cardinals. So, without the Cardinals, they'd be undefeated right now too. So I don't know that this is a team that the Arizona Cardinals just outright own, like Aaron Rodgers owns the Bears. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams win the next game against the Cardinals whenever that happens. I'm trying to say is this is still a formidable team. I wouldn't just count them out because you beat them once. Okay. All right. We got to take a break. When we come back, we will try to get through the rest of these games. I think we can do it. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic.
Rich Eisen from Monday Night Football on Westwood One here with a preview of NFC action coming up from Seattle with the Seahawks taking on the Saints. Jameis Winston in New Orleans coming off their bye week and looking to improve on their 3-2 season start. Seattle is, of course, without Russell Wilson coming off a tough overtime loss to the Steelers. Hoping to lead the Seahawks to their first home win of the season, Geno Smith will be under center.
We can't keep coming up short. I can't keep coming up short, I put that on myself, and I vow to be better. But one thing I know about this team is we're not going to hang our heads. We're going to bounce back. We're going to find a way to bounce back and get a win.
Kevin Harlan and Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner will have all the action from Seattle when the Seahawks host the Saints on Monday Night Football.
Remember to listen to Westwood One's exclusive coverage of the NFL all season long, right here on 1580 The Fanatic, Arizona's new home for sports.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. Dashboard light problems? We can help. Our free Fix Finder service can read your check engine light, ABS light, and service indicator light, and give you possible solutions verified by licensed technicians. You'll even get detailed results sent straight to your email so you have them when you need it most. It's the most complete free warning light report backed by technician verified fixes. The free Fix Finder service, only at AutoZone.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
More details at AutoZone.com.
Hey, frequent heartburn may keep you from running your A game, but it doesn't have to anymore. Join the Prilosec OTC 2-week challenge. Just go to prilosecotc.com. You'll get $3 off to get you started, plus 14 days of tips, tricks, and reminders. Just 2 weeks, zero heartburn. Go to prilosecotc.com and sign up today. Zero heartburn is possible with Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
Fever is the leading symptom of COVID and the flu, and the only way to reliably detect fever is with an accurate thermometer. Be vigilant and be accurate with the Exergen Temporal Scanner, proven in more than 100 clinical studies. Don't rely on non-contact thermometers. They are proven to be inaccurate and will not reliably detect a fever that might mean COVID. Be sure to seek medical advice at the first sign of fever. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Does your company need bonds? Hi, this is Dave McKee, president of Constructors Bonding, inviting you to learn how our team can deliver better bonding than any competitor anywhere. Our relationships with every major surety get you the credit you need fast, and we never stop working to exceed your expectations. Call me personally at 602-432-5929. That's 602-432-5929 to learn how Constructors Bonding is your solution to better bonds.
Mortgage interest rates remain near historic lows. So whether you're wanting to lower your interest rate, take cash out to remodel your home, or pay off credit card or installment debt, now is the perfect time to refinance or purchase a home. Call David White at 480-244-6625. 480-244-6625 to review your mortgage options and to take advantage of David's 32 years of industry experience, incredible customer service, and competitive interest rates. We shop the market for the best interest rates so you don't have to. So call David at 480-244-6625. That's 480-244-6625. Call David now to discuss your mortgage options and before interest rates go up at 480-244-6625. That's 480-244-6625. Don't wait. Call today and take advantage of the low rates. David White, NMLS 322907 of AmeriFirst Financial Inc. NMLS 145368, an equal housing opportunity lender.
NASCAR Championship Weekend returns to Phoenix Raceway November 5th through the 7th.
A wild season of unexpected will culminate in Phoenix with drivers putting it all on the line for their shot
And earning the title of NASCAR Cup Series champion.
featuring 4 championship races in 3 days.
Don't miss your chance to witness history from atop the grandstands as the action goes 5 wide into the iconic dog leg.
Or from up close with access to the fan-friendly infield experience.
Get your tickets to see the NASCAR Championship in person.
Go to PhoenixRaceway.com.
Hurry, tickets won't last much longer.
Does your company need bonds? Hi, this is Dave McKee, president of Constructors Bonding, inviting you to learn how our team can deliver better bonding than any competitor anywhere. Our relationships with every major surety get you the credit you need fast, and we never stop working to exceed your expectations. Call me personally at 602-432-5929. That's 602-432-5929 to learn how Constructors Bonding is your solution to better bonds.
If you're not spending every waking moment checking us out online,
You better have a good excuse.
yeah, we've loaded up our website with the stories, pics, video, podcast, commentary, and more. The kind of stuff you love.
Hey, it takes a lot of time to post all this junk.
And you'll love every bit of it. Very well.
Or at least most of it.
It appears that the website has become alive. Get it now.
It's on the internet.
1580thefanatic.com.
It's the Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic. Coming up, you got Saints at Seahawks. Broadcast starts at 4:30, which is 8 minutes from now. Now I'm not sure if we will get through all of the games that we wanted to get through. Let me catch up on the text line and see what we can do here. Bob Schwersky says, hey, one of the problems with the Chiefs is that nobody's talking about the same thing we've seen countless times in the past. Super Bowl loser hangover. Well, I've heard of the Super Bowl hangover, but a Super Bowl loser hangover, I don't know. The Bills never had that. I mean, they never won, but they never had that. So don't think that's what it is. I think it's all those other things we mentioned. Navy Brad says, great looking beard you got going, Jeffrey. Oh, no, it's just like a week of stubble right now. I mean, I don't know, give it a few more weeks and maybe it'll be a real beard. Right now, I just look like somebody who's trying to clean your windshield. Get a couple extra bucks. He says, happy Monday. I'll say my fantasy team will have the lowest score. My quarterback tanked. You must have had Sam Darnold. This Pringle says Super Bowl appearances, Goff 1, Stafford none. Playoff appearances? Oh, Pringle, don't even play that game yet. You know that Stafford is heading for some serious stuff. Let's see if Goff ever sniffs a playoff again.
And can we point out that A, Jared Goff went to the Super Bowl with his coach reading the defense for him, and B, Matthew Stafford played for the Lions.
Yeah. Bruno Baller wants to know if we'll be on 3 hours on Thursday since we won't have the game. Yes, we will. It'll be just a normal show for us here on the Daily Blender. Hamilton Porter says, which is more likely this year, ASU in the Rose Bowl or a winless season for the Kitty Cats? I feel like, boy, that is a tough one because ASU, Jekyll and hiding, I don't know that I can even say. So it almost seems like more likely to see a winless season for the Kitty Cats. But you know how it is. They're going to win something somewhere sometime. They can't go completely defeated. Can they? I guess they could.
They could. It's just, college football is such a crazy sport. Like there is some team that is going to stumble against U of A and give them that win, but the schedule does not look promising. Let's put it that way.
FAB says, are the Raiders legit? Yes, they just need a coach. Thundar Sam Barbarian says, so FedFan is actually the ruler of Jeffrey's empire since he's always going to, I'm not always going to do what she says. I have enough of a legitimate fear of her that I will let her have what she wants. I mean, I'm not going to be alone with her without heavy guard, but since I am the emperor, I could still wipe her out if I felt like it, but I also like FedFan. So yeah, don't make a big deal out of this, man. Bigger Bob says, we couldn't wait to get out and travel. Not to brag, but we already seen a game in Foxborough. Went to the game yesterday. I'm flying out to LA Saturday to see the Patriots take on the Chargers and check out SoFi Stadium. This, for me, has been the best NFL season ever. Good for you, Beer Bob. Get out there. Get it done, man. I am jealous of you, too. Let's see. Rough Rob says, the curse of Cliff Kingsbury has struck Texas Tech. They just fired their head coach too.
I mean, I don't know if that's the curse of Kingsbury so much as he was
that
bad.
Guy sucked. Yeah. But so did Cliff Kingsbury got fired too. Don't ever forget that part. Intern, the main event says, I had a student bring me javelina summer sausage from his first one he killed. He was actually pretty good. Wait. A student brought you some sort of food from home. Homemade food. Killed animal, some sausage that mixed together, and you ate it?
Apparently.
Wow.
You must like that student. There's a lot of trust going on there.
Stunning. Good Lord. If I were a teacher, man, I would have plexiglass between me and the students. Forget that. Scratch Me Because says, I saw a 6 javelina crossing 92nd Street near Shea, and I just thought, bacon. Navy Brad says, I have Mahomes. That's what killed me in fantasy football. Oh, bad. Yeah, that's got to be bad. Senior Wake and Bake says, sup, fellas? Jeffrey, nice win over my Niners. The rain was your 12th man. Oh, come on, man. You know what? Your defense sucks so bad they couldn't catch one of the many interceptions that should have easily been in their hands. He says, also, Cards don't get the right support because they're not consistent. Well, they're consistently 7-0 right now. Watch them lose the next 7, then they'll be their usual selves. And he's still saying, go Niners.
It's unbelievable. I don't have.
I wish the 49ers played the Washington team this year.
Well,
I want to see him lose that one too, and see if he comes back crowing.
We played him last year and won that, so just tossing that out there.
Get back to us when you beat one of our teams, Senior Wake and Bake. Bob Swirsky, I can't read that off of a link, so you might have to go ahead and send me an email with that. Random Texter says, doesn't winless and chalupa mean the same thing? I believe you're right. In Spanish, I think it does. Mr. Pringle says, any chance you could get Delonte West on your show to give some insight into the Suns season? Nah, we don't do guests. 602 Pat Stan says, I envy Beer Bob. Thundar the Santa Barbarian says, if that texter knew what was in the sausage, she wouldn't have eaten it. That's what I'm saying. Wow, that is one brave woman, right? She is man of the day. Intern from the main event, you are man of the day because that is braver than I would ever be. Holy cow. Some student says, hey, I made some sausage. No. Big Stanky 87 says King Henry had more touchdowns passed than Fields and Mahomes. Oh my God, you're right, because he did that little flip over,
little jump pass, the direct snap jump pass.
God, I wish I had Derrick Henry this year. I had him in a year, I don't know, it was last year or the year before. Loved having Derrick Henry. Intern at the main event says, I generally have a zero food from students' home policy, especially in the year of our Lord 2021. But I know this family, so I felt confident. Yeah, and a lot of stuff goes into sausage. That's all I'm saying. How do you know there's not some some wet market and bat in there. Oh, wow. How long ago was that you ate that? You might want to see a doctor like right there. That makes me worried for your well-being, intern. Well, we did get to all the games the last 2 weeks. We did not get to all the games today. So I'm sure we will have some relevant discussions about this, that, and the other thing, tomorrow. Randy's back tomorrow. That'll be good. So I guess we all have to go watch this game and listen to this game. And I imagine we all have some fantasy football players in there. I know I do. I got Jameis Winston and Marquez Callaway. I need about 40 points. May God have mercy on my soul, right? Everybody have a great night. We will see you tomorrow. Coming up next, Westwood One, Saints and Seahawks on 1580, The Fanatic.
Jacobs and Haley, 6 to 10 weekday mornings.
On 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. And at 1580thefanatic.com.